Alright, well we're going to just do some odds and ends today. No roll cage. I ordered it on February 18th, which they said it wouldn't ship out until February 24th, which was Monday. Today's Friday. I got an email this morning, finally, because I never got a tracking number on the 24th when it was supposed to ship out. I got an email saying that they're out of stock. So, as soon as they anticipate it to ship out would be the 5th of March. So, no roll cage this weekend, so nothing fun on that. So we'll just have to keep on going with some little minor stuff. Thought I'd see if I couldn't tackle this gross looking throttle body housing. It's definitely got some corrosion, so I thought I'd see if I couldn't clean it up a little bit and maybe throw a quick coat of paint on it or something so it doesn't look so crusty. Excuse me. But that, and try to finish up my air intake on this and go from there. Well, I couldn't really paint it very well because it was so pitted, but I sanded it down and wire brushed it a little bit, taped it off, and used some of that truck liners and the can stuff I used on the floor of the car. So kind of gives it a rough texture and should be good enough. So I kind of got all my pipes and twists and bends done to the for the intake. So basically what I do is I cut everything to fit, and I make sure I don't have a bunch of weird overhang, because this was this was basically a 90 it started out at. So when I cut it originally, you had like kind of a pizza pie slice right here still, and it really blocked the air intake on there. So anyways, my point is when I'm fitting all this stuff, before I paint the elbows, obviously I get everything fitted the way I want. And since it's white and easy to see, I get everything fitted, all that good stuff, and then I take a permanent marker and just trace around where I have my joints, where everything is lined up kind of the way I want it. And you can actually see my old marker there. And then I just tape around that, scuff this up, paint it, and then I know exactly where I need to tighten my boots down. Now most all of this is made out of plumbing parts except for this part, and I've been running 3-inch plumbing PVC for a while now, and I've never had any of it melt or anything catastrophic happen with it. I just make sure I use the rubber flexi couplers, and those are also just plumbing stuff, but works out real good. My air filter is down in the fender of the car. I think I've showed this before, but it's right there hidden in the wheel well, and I got that piece of metal there, and that's mostly to block water and a ton of debris and salt from when I was down in Bonneville. But it's worked out pretty good. That piece of metal's just held on with a couple of screws, so I can take it off and change my filter element, which I probably need to get a new filter element for it anyways. Also, while I was up here, another guy had watched my video about that bracketry stuff I made to, get a tighter fit on my belts, because I was having a belt squeak no matter what I was doing. And he's got kind of the similar setup on his. It's not in an AMX, it's in some sort of Chevy car, but he's got the same supercharger, and he's actually got the same type of pulley on his power steering. And he told me, well, just order this 115 inch Dayco belt, which none of the parts stores could get it for me, but Summit had them. He said order that and go back to your small supercharger idler pulley, which I had this one here because I was using a belt that was 117 inches, so I had to have the biggest pulleys I could to take up the slack. So I had this pulley here and this big rib pulley, or not this one, but I don't know where it's at. It's a really big one, and I had it on that there. Anyways, if I find it, I'll show it to you. But or you can just look up in the videos. But it's a pretty big pulley. It's probably like a 3-inch in diameter pulley here, just to have enough slack. But my tensioner never had really any tension on it. So then I built the bracketry stuff to get more tension. You know, it worked. It quietened it down quite a bit, but I wasn't a big fan of it. But you know, if that's what I was going to have, that's what I was going to have, and it'd be fine. But anyways, I put the stock rib pulley. I actually put another used tensioner I had, with the stock pulley, and I put the stock idler pulley back on the supercharger with this small pulley, and it's almost maxed out on tension. It's probably got 1 inch of travel right now, which I think it's supposed to have a little bit more travel. But and I think, don't quote me on this, but these ridges right here, so that's maxed out when this, you can kind of see where my thumbnail is. That's actually a little ridge. When these are lined up with this one, that's maxed out. And I think there's 3, so there is 3 ribs on here. You won't be able to see this one back here, but this middle rib is where you want it. So to fix that, I need to replace this pulley anyways because it's pretty bad, so I don't have it tightened in. I'm just going to buy 2 of these pulleys, these smaller ones, and I'll take this pulley out and put a smaller one there, and that should give me my exact tension that I need. So that way I can just order a couple of these belts and have them on hand. There's the part number if anybody's looking for it. So that should fix up the tensioner. That'll get the air induction done. And the last thing I'm waiting for wiring and whatnot is my intake air temperature sensor, which I ordered a GM one. I'll have to either thread it there or put it in here and then hook that wire that's going to that old mass airflow sensor to it, so the car can be completely speed density tuned without a mass airflow sensor. If I don't use that for that, you can see it right there. That is the well, I don't know, the vent for the engine. That's supposed to hook up to your intake anyways. I could just extend that line and bring it up and button it there. So it's coming together pretty good. And then the weather's starting to kind of get warm. I mean, it is February. I won't really expect warm weather until pretty much the end of April, but you start getting a little bit warmer in March, so hopefully I can get the Frankenhood done so we can get that on this car and ready. And also I have joined the SCCA, which I didn't realize they did a bunch of autocross here in Bozeman, Livingston, Helena area. So we're going to take the AMX and try it out in autocross. I don't know if it's going to be a very good car for autocross, but they've got quite a few races throughout the year around here. That's, you know, 30-40 minute drive from my house, so that's easy enough. But I guess the next thing I was going to we're going to look at real quick in this video. I was going to look at the front brakes and show some stuff on the rear end that might be helpful to somebody else that's working on an AMX. So let me get those wheels off and we'll continue recording. Okay, so got a lot of brake dust on these. These are the factory disc brakes for the AMX, and they've got these super rare, or whatever you want to call them, 4-piston Bendix calipers. So there's 2 pistons on the front, 2 in the rear, and this disc, this rotor, doesn't have cooling fins. It's just a flat disc rotor. You know, maybe back in the day they worked really good, but you know, I've had a lot of issues with these brakes overheating and just not stopping this car very well. Brand new brake pads. These are brand new, well, reman, whatever, calipers, and new brake lines, new master cylinders, all that good stuff. But I have a really hard time getting this car to stop, you know, good. If I had to panic stop, I don't think this car would stop, honestly. Many times have I gone running, you know, driving hard down the road, or the guy who tunes it at the dyno will take it and run it, come back, and there's just smoke pouring out of these wheels, and you can actually see where the paint has burned off because they've gotten so hot trying to stop. So just getting a few more parts gathered up, but I got a cool kit for this to convert this over to updated Ford disc brakes. And I think they use Ford rotors, and they use a GM truck caliper, and I'm not sure the brake line, but basically then I can just go get any normal drill slotted high performance rotor and brakes and everything I need. And I think those disc brakes are 12-inch. I'm not sure what these are. I'm gonna say 11, maybe, I don't know, maybe 10. But anyways, now my point of taking this off is I've had a few people ask me about my lugs on this. Now, they didn't really require this at Bonneville, but I went ahead and did it. These are 9/16 wheel studs. So basically what you'd find like on a truck or a heavy van or something, you know, a 1500 or something, like a, you know, a regular full-size vehicle. The AMX had 1/2-inch lugs on it, I believe. So I got these at CarQuest. They actually pound right through the rotor, right through the hub, and they're 9/16. So, and these are 7/8 lugs. Takes a 7/8 socket, and they extend way out. So that kind of keeps me in my, you know, the correct length I need. Now the only problem I have is this one lug nut. I don't know if it's just the lug itself. It doesn't twist. Well, kind of, but it won't twist all the way around. But you can push it in and out, and it didn't hammer in right. So that's the only one I've had a problem with, which I'm probably gonna maybe buy a new one and see, or maybe with the new brake setup I can do something a little bit different. But there's the front brakes. And then for the rears, I did the same thing. I just got the truck lugs and pounded them through. Now, none of these move. These are all solid pounded. You're not going to get any movement out of them. I didn't powder coat these drums. I got them like that. But you can see how hot the rear brakes have gotten in this car as well. I mean, they have burned. And I don't even know if these are powder coated. The guy I got them from said they were. I don't know. Crappy powder coat if it is, but anyways, it has burned the paint on these things. So another cool thing about these AMXs, now I'm 99% sure, and I've never seen one or heard of anybody tell me otherwise, but AMXs are the only ones that have the hop bars from the factory. You know, they're welded right on the axle, and I guess they're kind of adjustable. But Javelins, I've never seen one that's had one, and I actually heard this on Junkyard Gold on that Motor Trend channel when they were out there, and they showed a kind of a crapped out, well, wore out AMX. He said that the 290 cars, the 290 AMXs didn't have them, but anything above the 290 had the hop bars on it from the factory. So then I'm assuming all AMXs had a sway bar, heavy duty sway bar in the back. This one does, which is something I'm assuming. And of course I got my little airbag system up here, which I need to put some more air in. But anyways, just a few things on the car. A few people asked to see some more stuff in the suspension area of the car. My leaf springs are toast on this car, and they're actually got some broken leaves on it. So I need to get new leaf springs for it. I had to put helpers on it, and of course the airbags and everything. So a few little problems, but nothing too terrible. So anyway, so we'll have to get it all prepped up and see how it's going to do for autocross. And as soon as I get a tracking number, or I know more about the roll bar, we'll get a video out on getting the roll bar done. So the weather actually has been pretty nice. It's been just straight sun with no clouds the last few days, and a lot of people have been taking their old muscle cars and their Corvettes and stuff out the last couple days, because it's been actually up in the 50s. But fortunately I can't do much with the car right now, because tore out the interior, because I thought I'd have me a roll cage. But hopefully in a week, or in a week or two, we'll have her done. So thanks for watching, and we'll get another video out when I got something else to do.